values. So that detail was there in the previous slide. So I'm skipping that. That is types of data in cluster analysis. Okay. I will share you this presentation. Just go through that also to better understand that how clustering of different type of variables, different types of data that we can adopt. So next topic is major clustering approaches. So we are having two approaches in syllabus: partition approach and second is hierarchical approach. Okay. First, that is partition approach. So in partition approach, we are constructing various partitions. The partitions are termed as our clusters. Okay. And then evaluate them by some criteria, that is minimizing the sum of square errors. Just as an example, that is what is the distance matrix. Sum of square errors is computed in between the objects, and what we are trying to minimize this sum of square errors to form the objects within a cluster. So typical methods falls under partition approach are k-means and k-medoid and CLARANS, Clarence. Okay. So these three major methods come under this partition approach. Second approach, that is the hierarchical approach, that create a hierarchical decomposition of the set of data objects using some criteria. And hierarchical decomposition, as we are aware of it, hierarchical structure, that it having some parent attributes, parent node, and it will be further expanded with respect to their descendants. So create a hierarchical decomposition just like our tree structure. First is the root node, then we are splitting into this sub nodes with respect to the root, and below that we are growing the tree. So the typical methods falls under this hierarchical approach are DANA, agents, bridge, rock, and chameleon. So this having some these are the short forms of with respect to the method which is adopted. Name of the method, short forms of that. We'll go with this hierarchical and partition. But as an apart from this hierarchical and partition, there are again density based approach, which is based on the connectivity and the density function. Connectivity in between the variables, in between the objects, and the density function. Typical methods: DB-scan, optics, DenClean, that falls under density based approach. Next is the grid based approach, here based on multiple value granularity structure. Its methods and comes under string, cluster, click. Next approach is a model based approach. A model is a hypothesized for each of the clusters and tries to find the best fit of that model to each other. So this method falls under EM, SOM, COBWEB. But again, ahead to that, the frequent pattern based clustering. So based on the analysis of the frequent patterns, typical methods are p-cluster. Next is user guided or constraint based clustering. This clustering by considering user specified or application specific constraints to impose with respect to the data set. Typical methods falls under this are obstacle spot and constraint based, that is constraint clustering. So various approaches of clustering. There is not only this k-means and k-meroids algorithms are available. Apart from that, various others are algorithms are also available. So major clustering approaches, that first is partition approach, second is hierarchical approach, next is density based approach, grid based approach, model based approach, frequent pattern based approach, and user guided or constraint based approach. Various approaches are there for doing clustering. Okay. All these approaches are with respect to some guidelines with respect to that how that particular approach is adopted. Okay. But at the end, overall aim is the same. That is, there should be a high intercluster similarity in between the objects and low intracluster similarity. That is what the expected from all of these different approaches. So now it's what we are looking with respect to the objects, that is majorly the distance. Okay. typical alternatives to calculate the distance between the clusters. That is within the clusters and uh, it's not within the cluster actually. It's difference between the clusters with respect to that different two clusters or more than whatever the number of clusters. Distance computation in between the clusters, not within the cluster. So these are the ways single link method. So it's the smallest distance based distance between an element in one cluster and an element in other cluster. Now, if you remember that we took one session on this, right? That is the calculation or computation of the distance between the cluster. Uh, with one example was taken, and all methods through this we have already calculated. So just I will go with this, go with this not in that much of detail. First, that is single link method. So what single link method is that smallest distance between an element in one cluster and an element in other cluster. So here, capital K, that is distance of Ki, comma Kj is equal to minimum of Tip, comma Tjp. Tip and Tjp, these are what the distance between these objects. Smallest distance between an element in one cluster. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yes.
Hello.
Hello. Bola.
Sir, your voice is breaking.
Right. Connectivity is fine actually. Do one thing, just leave and again do join. Other students are able to listen it
Okay.
clearly. Brunalini, Shraddha, are you able to listen it clearly? First one, that is a single link. Smallest distance between an element. Smallest distance between an element in one cluster and an element in other cluster. Second distance computation method can be the complete link. That is the largest distance between an element in one cluster and an element in other cluster. There is maximum of the PIP and TJP. This PIP, TJP, these are the objects actually within the cluster. The largest distance between an element in one cluster and an element in the another cluster. Next is average. That is the average distance between an element in one cluster and an element in other cluster. So here Ki and Kj reflects your two clusters, right? And the average of the distance between an element in one cluster, that is EIP, that is with respect to one cluster, and TJP, that is will be that is J with respect to the another cluster. That object from the average points of the other cluster, J cluster. Next method is the centroid method. So in centroid, the distance between the centroid of two clusters, that is distance between the Tij, Tk, distance of Ki, comma Kj is equal to distance of Ci, comma Cj, where Ci reflects your the centroid of the cluster I, right? Ki, centroid of the cluster I, and Cj reflects your centroid of the cluster J. That is the second cluster. Here we are looking for the distance between the centroids of the two clusters. Next is medoid. Medoid is what the distance between the hello. Next is medoid. Medoids is what? That is the distance between the medoids of the two clusters. Okay. Medoid is one chosen centrally located object in the cluster. So which is at max at the center. We are taking that object from each cluster and measuring the distance in between them. That is what the medoids. Okay. So that is randomly selecting and a centrally located object in the cluster. So distance between the medoids of two clusters, that is distance of Ki is equal to distance in between the medoid of the I cluster and medoid of the J cluster. So these are the various ways to compute the distance between the clusters. So centroid, radius, and diameter for a cluster for numerical data set. These are the computation formulas for computation of centroid, radius, and diameter with respect to cluster. So centroid, that is the middle of the cluster, defined as Cm is equal to summation of I equal to 1 to n, where n is the number of objects, obviously TIP, that is with respect to a particular object. Object P in I reflects what? That is the cluster I. I is 1 to n, that is the object, okay, and divided by n. So radius computation will be what? Rm is equal to square root of the average distance from any point of the cluster to its centroid. Average distance from any point of the cluster to its centroid. So formula is here, that is EIP minus Cm, that is centroid. Removing centroid, taking the square. Straight away the formula is divided by n number of objects. Next is diameter. Diameter is what? That is the square root of average mean square distance between all pairs of the points in the cluster. Average mean square distance. The mean square distance is computed in the upper part, and that is divided by n of n minus 1 to get an average mean square distance between all pairs. So EIP minus EIQ. All pairs are compared. So ways to compute the radius, centroid, and the diameter. Next, now out of this two partitioning and partitioning algorithm. So now basic concept with respect to this partitioning algorithm, partitioning method, sorry, algorithm also we can say. Construct a partition of database D of n objects into k clusters, such that the minimum sum of square distance, that should be the minimum sum of the square distance should be there. So construct a partition of database D of n objects into k clusters. Okay, that is number of clusters. So summation of m equal to 1 to k. Summation of TMI belongs to the AM, where m is m equal to 1 to k. This is what number of clusters. So with respect to the cluster 1, this will be what? T1I belongs to the KM cluster. K1 suffix 1. Okay. Tm that reflects our centroid, capital C is for centroid, minus TMI, that is particular object, that TMI object, square of that. So given K, find a partition of K cluster that optimizes the chosen partition criteria. Right? So that is with respect to global optimal, that exhaustively enumerates all partitions. Heuristic methods are K-means and K-medoid heuristic methods. So we are going through this now, K-means and K-medoid. First is K-means. So K-means is presented by McQueen in 1967. Each cluster is represented by the center of the cluster. Here each cluster is represented by the center of that cluster. That is K-means. Next is K-medoid, or also termed as a partition around medoids. This is given or proposed in Kaufman and Rousseau in 1807. Each cluster is represented by one of the objects in the cluster. So here one object represented as the center, cluster center. And around that center, we are computing the other objects. So the various methods of this computation of distance we have seen earlier in the same session. So the k-means clustering method first one. So given the k-means algorithm is implemented in four steps. So first, that is partition object into the k non-empty subsets. K non-empty subset. Compute the seed point as the centroid of the cluster of the current partition. And compute the seed point as the centroid of the cluster of the current partition. Centroid is the center, that is the main point of the cluster. Assign each object to the cluster with the nearest seed point. Go back to the step 2 and stop when no new assignment is there. All objects are over. All objects are assigned with the clusters. First step, that is partition the object into k non-empty subsets, where k reflects the number of clusters. Then compute the seed point as the centroid of the cluster of the current partition. The centroid is the center, that is the main point of the cluster. Assign each object to the cluster with the nearest seed point. We are computing the object with respect to centroid and calculating the distance. So whichever is the nearer one with respect to that centroid, they will be gathered together, termed as one cluster. We need to continue this till end of all objects. For example, k-means clustering. There is k equal to 2. That is, what are the coordinate system we have represented the objects. This is 2-dimensional data. So there are total 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, total 12 objects are there. Let k equal to 2, then arbitrarily choose k object as the initial cluster center. So here we have considered k equal to 2, means that two clusters we are forming. Right? And it is reflected through this red point. So this will be the one centroid cluster center we have considered, and this is the another cluster center. Now the remaining objects we need to classify, we need to cluster it with respect to their nearest distance with respect to the center. It is arbitrarily chosen. Next step, assign each object to most assigning each object to most similar center. Assigning each object to most similar center. So this particular shown in the dark blue, 4 points will fall nearer to each other here, and this 6 points they will form one cluster. They are nearer with respect to the decided seed point. Update the cluster means. So for each iteration we need to update the cluster mean. Every time we need to compute the mean when we add the element with respect to that particular center. So updated cluster centers are now with respect to the first cluster. These red points will be the cluster center for this particular cluster. For the second cluster, this particular red point is the cluster center. Again, reassigning is what with respect to the updation. Right? Again, we can form the clusters with respect to whatever we have received it. So reassigning, that is these 6 points and these 3 points. Okay. Update the cluster means again. So the cluster means are bit changed. These red points reflect the cluster means. If you observe now, if this one with respect to the dark blue, 4 objects, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is what that is arbitrarily chosen as the initial cluster center. Right? This particular red, where is my mouse right now. So these are the points that computed. These values are also get updated with respect to the center. We are taking the mean of the center every iteration. And now the figures, the coordinate system will observe. So this will not remain same as in a center here. Because these values will get changed and it is moved right now here. 100 now down. Okay. Again reassigning again observe this dark blue 4 objects. So obviously the center will not be here as previous. That will be get updated by taking the mean every time by when you are taking the element, adding the element in the cluster, it is moved here. Okay. So this process we are carrying out to find minimum distance or the density of the cluster. That is much more similarity in between the within the cluster and not similar or far away when we are comparing the intra-cluster similarity. This is the K-means method. So strength of this was relatively efficient of TKN, relatively efficient. The complexity, where N is the number of objects, K is the number of clusters, and T is the number of iterations. Normally, K comma T are very much less than the number of objects. Obviously, that is not the case. That every object is different. That means every object will be formed in one cluster. It's not the case. It's very much less with respect to the number of elements. Weaknesses with respect to this are applicable only when the mean is defined. Then what about the categorical data? Right? That is the question because here in terms in respect to the algorithm definition means. Right? And with respect to the numerical data, that we are finding the mean, the numerical values. What is with respect to the categorical level? Second is that is the need to specify K, the number of cluster in advance. So before starting with respect to the cluster that we need to inform that what are the number of clusters in advance. Unable to handle noisy data or outliers. Noisy data and outliers, these are what that is not example that is goes far away in coordinate system with respect to the points. Unable to handle this because if you add this outlier very much far away from the whatever center you are consider, then your mean value will be get changed and sparsity will be there in the objects within the cluster. Sparsity that is the all objects are very much far away from each other. Not suitable to discover clusters with a non-convex shape. Not suitable to discover the cluster with a non-convex shape. Now, with respect to that, applicable only with the mean is defined. Then what about the categorical data? So, with respect to that, what we can do, what are the categorical data, we can reprocess it and assign numbers to them. So, but again, it will not work that much good because if the category labels are three, that is high, medium, low, right? So if you decide the numbers like 1, 2, 3, so this also you can adopt here. More than 10, that let's say there are 10 colors, right? And with respect to the color intensity, we can enumerate it, that we can assign the numbers to them, and then again taking the mean and applying this clustering, k-means clustering. That sort of that is an pre-processing task we can apply and utilize the k-means. Variations of the k-means method falls under our partitioning algorithms. So few variants of k-means which differ in selection of initial k-means. Second is that dissimilarity calculation. Adopt any other method with respect to the distance computation. So Manhattan, various methods are there. So, say next is that is a strategy to calculate the cluster means. Strategy to calculate the cluster means. So these are the few of the variants with respect to the initial seed point. That selection also should not be arbitrary. Okay, considering whichever is the first point in the data set based on that. Now handling the categorical data, that variation of k means will be of k modes. K means variation is k mode that is used for handling the categorical data. So replacing mean of the cluster with the mean with the modes and using new dissimilarity measure to deal with the categorical object. So replacing means are so handling categorical that is the categorical data for that the variation is available variation is that k modes. Uh, k modes. What is k modes are first is that replacing means of the clusters with the modes. Okay. As numerical values are not modes. Using new dissimilarity measures deal with the categorical objects. Using a frequency based method to update the modes of the cluster, that is number of occurrence of that particular object. A mixture of categorical and numerical data for that K prototype method is used. Variations are that is with respect to the selection, decimality calculation, and the strategies to calculate the cluster means. Second, now handling of the categorical data method is K modes. Handling of the mixture of categorical and numerical data, then K prototype method is used. Now, with respect to the categorical data K mode, replacing the means that we have taken in the K means by the modes, right? And using the new disability measures to deal with the categorical objects. Using a frequency based method to update the modes. What is the problem of the K-means method? As we have seen, that is outliers and noisy data. That will be the that also not able to handle K-means very well with respect to the noisy data and the outliers. So the problem with the K-means method, the K-means algorithm is sensitive to the outliers. If an object with an extremely large value may be substantially distort the distribution of data. So, what is outliers? Outliers is what that are the fake values actually, termed as a fake outlier. Those are lying sort of thing. We are having the data set with respect to the uh, mark of the students. Right? Marks of the students in phase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this case. So if you observe that one of the students who is in every test is having average in between 40 to 50 marks. But with respect to the test 5, it got near about 99 marks. Right? So whatever the reason for that, we are not interested in that. But that particular data value fall far away from this 40 to 50, which was average every time. That is what the outlier. Another example can be in a credit card transaction. That to detect the fraud detection also we can use outliers are very much important. With respect to the credit transaction, a credit card expenditure with respect to the months of a person are in between 20,000 to 30,000, having a limit of about 1 lakh. Right? This was the past data of an year for 12 months credit for the credit card bill history we have taken. And 13th record with respect to that is about 1 lakh rupees. What is a drastic change with respect to the historical data. That is termed as an outliers data, and we can utilize our outliers are going to contribute for fraud detections. So with respect to the K means that it's sensitive to the outliers. So why it is sensitive? Because larger values, very much large value, higher value, and the average values, whatever are there we are talking about. Difference in between is much more higher. And if we are taking or adding this particular element to the higher value with respect to the present mean K mean value, after updating the K means, that cluster center will be or K means value will be get obviously changed, larger difference. That is what as an objective with an extremely large value may substantially distort the distribution of the K method that instead of taking the mean value, now second algorithm under a partitioning method, under partitioning algorithm of clustering, second method is k-medoid. So that will overcome this issue of handling the outliers, that is the extremely large values. So k-medoid, that instead of taking the mean value of the object in a cluster as the reference point, medoids can be used, which is the most centrally located object in the cluster. So a core part of this k-medoid is what? We are not changing the cluster every time, which was the case in k-means. We are taking the mean and changing the center of the cluster. But in k-medoids, what we are doing, we are selecting most centrally located object as a center of the cluster, medoid of the cluster, and we are computing the distance around this medoid only. We are not changing the medoid value after updating or after adding the elements nearer to that cluster while deciding the boundary of that cluster. So, k-medoid clustering method that finds a representative object called medoids in the cluster, also termed as this k-medoid is also termed as partitioning around medoids. Partitioning around medoids. Start from an initial set of medoids and iteratively replaces one of the medoids by one of the non-medoids if it improves the total distance of the resulting cluster. Starts from an initial set of medoids. So, initial set of medoids. What it terms that not one element as a medoid, here it is taken as a set of that is more than one element as a medoid, and iteratively replace one of the medoids by one of the non-medoids if it improves the total distance of the resulting cluster. So with respect to one of the objects taken as in a set of medoids, we are doing clustering. That with respect to medoids, we are computing the distance, whatever the distance method of computation you have adopted. With respect to you are computing, and at the end, whatever the cluster is formed, whatever the boundary is formed, with respect to all objects, we are computing their average distance with respect to the center, right? With respect to the medoid 1, we can say that is one first object in the state of medoid. Then we are moving to the second object and again following the same step, right? And then we are looking for the density of this by selecting the medoid 1 and medoid 2. So density computation is what they how much they are dense, that is how much they are nearer to each other. Now let's say suppose medoid 2 is with the good density as compared to 1. So that we are updating it with the medoid 2 will be our final value. Final medoid. Right? So this is what the iteratively we have iterative method that iteratively replaces one of the medoid by the one of the non-medoids. Non-medoids and medoid is what that is the state of medoids within that we are going with respect to whatever the medoid points as an arbitrarily chosen at the start that will be what nearer or will be the center of the. So partitioning around method works effectively for small data sets but does not scale well for the large data sets. That is one of the drawbacks with respect to this. And obviously in machine learning we are dealing with the large data sets, okay? Large amount of data sets. So again, these are the k-means and k-medoids. Now, this apart from k-means and k-medoids in partitioning method, third one is Clara, Kaufman and Rutherford. This Gaussian. Clara meaning that is the extension of that is what clustering large applications. Clustering large application theorem. Next is the Clarence, that is a randomized sampling. That is, we can say updation to the Clara by the named as in Clarence by N.G. and Han in 1994. That is adopted with the randomized sampling. Focusing plus spatial data structure. That is variation we can say with algorithms and Whistler has proposed this, that is focusing plus spatial data structure. So with respect to syllabus, k-means and k-medoids are there, but apart from that, Clarence, focus plus spatial data structure, these are also the partitioning algorithm clustering under the medium of partitioning methods. For example, a typical k-medoids algorithm So data set with respect to this total 10 points are there and k equal to 2 that reflect total number of clusters. Clusters are considered. So arbitrarily chosen k object as an initial midway. So here two objects are considered as an midway. This particular dark blue and this blue, right? And then assign each remaining object to the nearest midway. So what we are doing, that is with respect to the midway, midway 1 and midway 2. Midway 1, we are looking comparing with all objects, the distance is compared with this, and then this, right? So it is observed that these are the nearer one and these objects are closer to this. So with respect to the first midway, we are comparing all objects. So with respect to the midway 2, again we are comparing all objects, right? And then we are setting up some threshold. What will be the boundary at max how much distance is allowed. To randomly select a non-midway object, O random. So here it is rarely selected as a non-midway object. But before that, look at here. The two clusters are formed, and if you observe the center is not changed. That is at the fixed one. Here it was in the previous iteration. Next state it will be at the same location. Okay. So cost is computed based on that distances. Based on the distances, formalized ahead in the next slide. And next, that is randomly select a non-midway object O random. So here this red point reflect as an O random, that is another midway point we have taken, and that is for just the comparison with respect to the present midway with respect to the density of the cluster, and computed the total cost of swapping. So we observe that total cost will be of 26 for swapping this as a midway. The cost required 20 will be was good as compared to the cost for the 26. Cost, there is the density, we can say some measure of density. Swapping of O and O random is if the quality is improved. So quality is, that is the density. So obviously 26 is higher, so better it was if this particular viewpoint as the same as the middle. So do loop until no change with respect to the, or with respect to the computation of the total cost. So as the minimum, that point are considered as the middle. So further slide with respect to the same K midway, partitioning around the midway. Uh, in 1987, built in S++. This is what is the S programming language, you know, statistical programming language. Nowadays we are having R programming. Before that, we were using the S plus in 1980, 1990. Built in S plus, that is S programming language. So use object-oriented programming language. It use real object to represent the clusters. So the process that select k representative objects arbitrarily. For each pair of non-selected object H and selected object I, calculate the total swapping cost. I and H are the two objects. PC stands for the total swapping cost. Total cost. So for each pair of I and H, if EI H is less than 0, I is replaced by H. If the total cost of swapping is less than 0, then I is replaced by H. Then assign each non-selected object to the most similar representative object. So repeat the step 2 and 3 until there is no change. Same thing is there, but from different book I have taken this particular slide. So that also I have added here in the presentation. So the computation of total swapping cost I is equal to summation of J C of JIH. Here J is what in a center of the midway which we have considered. J is compared with the I and H. So total swapping cost is CIT. So now this is the to clarify that what is the total swapping actually, computation of total swapping cost. So CJIH is equal to DJIH, distance in between J and H element of objects minus distance of j and I objects. So you'll observe this new point is I, H, and this is j. So what we are doing, we are comparing the distance j to I and comparing the distance j to H and j to I. Okay. And if it is less than 0, then we are I is replaced by the H. The idea of swapping cost JIH. We have changed the element another example and distance computation. Basic idea is what that is comparing the two distances, taking the minus of that if it is lesser than 0, then we are swapping it. Otherwise, probably not. So the drawbacks of the problem with the partition around middle. More robust than K means in the presence of the noise and outlier. Suppose the mediator is less influenced by the outlier or other extreme values than a mean. Because the center of the cluster are not changing, we are not changing after each updation. K works efficiently for small data sets but does not scale well for the large data sets. The complexity is of K of n minus K square for each iteration, where n is the number of data object and K is the number of clusters. Sampling based method, that is rather clustering large applications. That is, as we have seen, we are talking that is large data set we cannot accommodate it here. EM is not well with large data. So with respect to the large data, Clara is one of the next variant or version of version method for partitioning. This is all about the partitioning method and that we have seen K-means and the K-middle. Next, that is hierarchical methods. Hierarchical clustering, other method under the heading of clustering, which is unit number 4. So, hierarchical clustering method works by grouping data objects into a tree of clusters. As this word reflects it, hierarchical structure means having some heading and below that the tree will go. So, clustering method works by grouping data objects into a tree of objects, tree of clusters. So, hierarchical clustering methods can be further classified as either agglomerative or divisive. So, depending on whether the hierarchical decomposition is formed in a bottom-up and a top-down manner, splitting fashion. Agglomerative, that is the merging, and divisive, that is the splitting fashion. So, two methods can be further classified as either agglomerative and divisive. Two categories of hierarchical clustering, agglomerative and divisive. The quality of pure hierarchical clustering methods suffer from its inability to perform adjustment. Once a merge, once a merge, that is particular merge or split decision, latter turns out to have been a poor choice. The method cannot be backtracked and corrected. Important that there is no backtracking, no recursion is there, no correction is there. Medoids, we have seen that correction you can able to do. If a particular merge or split decision latter turns out to have been poor choice, the method cannot backtrack and correct it. So it's better to again process is that again you need to start from the first. Agglomerative and divisive hierarchical clustering. In general, there are two types of hierarchical clustering methods. Agglomerative hierarchical clustering method, this is bottom-up strategy, starts by placing each object in its own cluster and then merges these atomic clusters into a larger and larger clusters. Agglomerative method is what, that is bottom-up strategy, starts by placing each object in its own cluster and then merges these atomic clusters into a larger and larger cluster. So at the bottom there will be each object separately terms as these are the clusters, right? So these each objects then we are merging together, right? To go upwards, clusters into larger and larger cluster until all objects are in a single cluster. So all objects are in a single cluster will be what our root, will be our root, starting root, or until certain termination conditions are satisfied. So this next divisive hierarchical clustering. So this is top-down strategy. That is, does the reverse of the agglomerative hierarchical clustering by starting with all objects in one cluster. So opposite to that, all objects from the one cluster, then we are splitting it, right? Splitting it, forming the number of clusters. So it subdivides the cluster into smaller and smaller pieces until each object forms a cluster on its own, or until it satisfies a certain termination conditions, such as a desired number of cluster is obtained or diameter of each cluster is within the certain. So termination criteria will be what? The first one will be the number of clusters, what area it is. So at the start, all objects in one cluster, then we are splitting it with respect to whatever number of clusters you want, right? So the termination will be whatever number of decided clusters. Second termination condition will be what? That is the diameter of each cluster, right? So that is the threshold or the boundary line with respect to the cluster. Boundary line with respect to the cluster. So agglomerative versus reverse hierarchical clustering. So for example, uh, agglomerative. If you look this diagram from left to right, then it will be an agglomerative, and divisive will be from the right to the left one. So step 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 with respect to agglomerative and divisive 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So agglomerative ABCD, that is each object forms one cluster. Then the next upward direction will be what, that is merging, leading. Here D E will be the object and it is merged, and last will be the one cluster. Right? Now with respect to divisive, all objects are considered as in one cluster. Then we are splitting this. Then we are forming, that is the termination criteria will be what number of cluster what we have decided, and second the diameter of the cluster. So now agglomerative, next whatever the approach we have seen, agents is one of the algorithm for which uses this agglomerative from the bottom top approach. An agglomerative hierarchical clustering method and DINA, that is the divisive analysis, DIA. Divisive hierarchical clustering method for a data set of 5 objects. Initially, agent places each object in a cluster at a time. So this is the explanation of whatever the diagram we have discussed. For example, cluster C1 may be merged with an object C1 and an object C2 form the minimum Euclidean distance between any two objects from different clusters. So this is a single linkage approach. Each cluster is represented by all of the objects in the cluster, and the similarity between the two clusters is measured by the similarity of the closest pair of data points belonging to the different clusters. The cluster merging process repeats until all of the objects are eventually merged to form the one cluster. And in divisive analysis, all objects are used to form the one initial cluster. The cluster split according to some principles. The cluster splitting process repeats until each object in agglomerative and the divisive working with the dendrogram representation of hierarchical clustering of data objects ABCD. Level 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. The agglomerative is object as a cluster. at the end of all cluster. And we are writing similarity scale. So similarity scale will be that 0.2 means they are very much near and then distance taken as 1.0. It shows that distance research that points will close to the particular representation is termed as a dendrogram representation, showing at each level the graph will be, and this is the scale what you have considered for a computation of the distance. Detailed explanation of this. The figure shows a dendrogram of pi object presented in the figure 7.6. They are at equal to 0, that shows the pi object as an equivalent cluster 0. More widely used measure for the distance between the clusters are as follows. The next slide is the cardinality of P minus P dash. The distance between the two objects or points P and P dash, where Mi is the mean of the cluster, and Ni is the number of objects in the cluster. Mi is the mean, P and P dash are the two objects. Mi is the mean and Pi is the center, mean of the cluster center. Pi here is the center. Mi is the mean, P and P dash are the objects. Ni is the number of objects in the cluster. So these are the distance measures, minimum distance, P minimum, Pi comma C, P maximum, mean distance, and average distance. Computation with respect to the average points, P and P dash. Straight away formula. These are the slides to explain this computation. So, what are some of the difficulties in the hierarchical clustering? You can say that flaws, that is the hierarchical clustering method. Through the simple clustering method, through simple often encounters difficulties regarding the section of merge or the split points. Such a decision is critical because once a group of objects is merged or split, the process at the next step will operate on the newly generated cluster. It will neither undo what was done previously nor perform object swapping between the clusters. As we have seen at the start, we cannot go back, right? So that no recursion will be there. You have adopted, you need to follow the same. Because merge or split decision, if not well chosen at some step, may lead to low quality cluster. Moreover, the method does not scale well because each decision to merge or split requires the examination and evaluation of good number of objects on the cluster. One promising direction for improving the clustering quality of hierarchical method is to integrate hierarchical clustering with other clustering techniques. Now, other clustering techniques apart from this agglomerative and debating, three such methods are introduced in the following subsection. First is called the bridge. uh, which begins by partition. It's not a bridge, actually, BIRC. Begins by partitioning methods hierarchically using tree structure, where the leaf or the low level non-leaf nodes can be viewed as a microcluster depending on the scale of resolution. It then now three subsections are there. They are introduced to enhance or we can say overcome with respect to this agglomerative and divisive methods. So then applies other clustering algorithms to perform the microclustering on the microclusters. The second method is called the raw. It merges the cluster based on their interconnectivity. Third method is called the chameleon. It explores the dynamic modeling in the hierarchical clustering. Due to distance As a criteria, this method does not require the number of clusters as an input but use termination condition. With respect to hierarchical, we was in previous agglomerative nesting agents. It's introduced in 1990, implemented in statistical analysis package, that is S plus S programming language. Use the single link method and the dissimilarity matrix as a distance measurement computation. Merge the nodes that have the least dissimilarity. Merge the nodes that have the least dissimilarity. Go on in non-descending fashion. Eventually, all nodes belong to the same cluster. So these two objects from one cluster, these two, right? And next iteration goes on. The two clusters are interfacing nearer very much to each other, then forming in one cluster. The next step. Likewise, here also two clusters merge together and form this as one cluster. Next step will be what? That is terminate, or you can form in one cluster. Understanding one cluster is an very meaning. The intro graph shows that clusters are merged. Decompose the data object into several levels of nesting partitions for clusters called the dendrogram. Clustering of the data object is obtained by cutting the dendrogram at the desired level, and each connected component forms a cluster. So these all points at the bottom will be considered as your each object. They are merged together with respect to their similar. Second, divisive analysis introduced in 90s. S plus node order of agents. Eventually, each node forms its cluster. The way this one opposite, that is at the start it is similar to cluster, then we are splitting it and forming more number of clusters. So recent hierarchical clustering methods major weaknesses do not scale well, time complexity is at least big O of n squared, that is the number of objects, can never undo what we can done previously. So integration of hierarchical with the distance based clustering. After this two, hierarchical and divisive, BIRCH uses the C of tree and incrementally adjust the quality of the subcluster. So this you can observe that whatever the drawbacks they are get overcome in three methods. 1999 ROCK method introduced clustering categorical data by neighbor and the link analysis. Then Chameleon 1999 hierarchical clustering using a dynamic model. So first BIRCH. It's what actually a long form balanced, iterative, reducing and clustering using hierarchies. Balanced, iterative, reducing and clustering using the hierarchies. So BIRCH designed for clustering a large amount of numerical data by integration of hierarchical clustering at the initial micro-clustering stage and other clustering methods such as iterative partitioning, and at the latter, that is micro-cluster clustering stage. Is designed for clustering large amount of numerical data by integration of hierarchical clustering at the initial micro-clustering stage, and then clustering methods such as iterative partitioning, that is to further expand. It overcomes two difficulties of agglomerate. First is scalability, second is the inability to undo what was done in the previous step. So BIS has introduced two concepts, clustering features and clustering features CFS, clustering features, which are used to summarize the cluster representation. Now, these structures help the clustering method achieve good speed and scalability in large databases, and also make it effective for incremental and dynamic clustering of incoming objects. So, given n-dimensional data object or points in a cluster, we can define the centroid. x0, radius r, and the diameter d of the cluster as follows. So the ways of computation of this centroid radius, square root of this xi x0 is our centroid. X straight away formula is there. Diameter xi x3 two objects square divided by n of n minus, where r is the average distance from the member object to the centroid and d is the average pairwise distance within the cluster. R is the average distance from member object to the centroid and D is the average pairwise distance within the cluster. Both R and D reflect the tightness of the cluster around the centroid. Both R and D reflect the tightness, or you can say density of the cluster around its centroid. Clustering features here is a three-dimensional vector summarizing three-dimensional vector, that is N, Ls and Ss. So information about the cluster objects. Given an n-dimensional objects or points in cluster xi, then the CF of the cluster is defined. Given the n-dimensional objects or the points in the cluster xi, then the CF of the cluster is defined. Vector of this three-dimensional vector n, Ls and Ss, where n is the number of points in the cluster, Ls is the linear sum of the n points, that is the summation of I equal to 1 to n xi, linear sum of the n points, and Ss is the square sum of the data points, that is the 1 to n xi square. So clustering feature is essentially a summary of the statistics of the given cluster. 0 per second moment of the cluster from a statistical point of view. Clustering features are additive. Example, suppose that we have two disjoint clusters C1 and C2. Two disjoint, no any common elements C1 and C2, having the clustering features CF1 and CF2 respectively. Now the clustering features for the cluster that is the form by merging C1 and C2 is simply CF1 plus CF2. Clustering features are sufficient for calculating all the measurements that are needed for making clustering decisions in BIRCH. This method does utilizes the efficiently by employing the clustering features to summarize information about the cluster of objects, thereby passing the need to store all objects. So now example to compute the CF clustering features. So suppose we are having this three points 2, 5, x and y. Two-dimensional data we have taken 2, 5, 3, 2 and 4, 3 in a clustering C1 and the clustering features of 12. Now with respect to the 3 points we are computing CF clustering feature 1. So as we know it's a three-dimensional vector, there is first one of n. So n reflects what? That is the number of objects. So 1, 2, 3 objects are there. The second vector is that linear summation. Linear summation. So this particular, that is the SLS, linear summation. I equal to 1 to n xi, and SS is the square sum of the data points 1 to n xi square. So first is linear sum 2 plus 3 plus 4. So this first x in xy coordinate x terms are addition 2 plus 3 plus 4, that is the 2 plus 3 plus 4. Now y term, that is 5 plus 2 plus 3, 5 plus 2 plus 3. This is the LS. Next SS. In SS, that is the square we have taken 2 square plus 3 square plus 4 square, comma 5 square plus 2 square plus 3 square. So this CF1, that is clustering features with respect to these points, will be 3, 9, 0 and 29, 30. Suppose that C1 is disjoint to the second cluster C2 and CF2, that is cluster feature for this C2. Another cluster is what 3, 35, 36, 417 and 440. And this so C1 and C2 are what disjoints. So the clustering feature of new cluster C3 that is formed by merging the C1 and C2, derived by adding the CF and C2. This is a simple addition of CF1 this plus this 2. So this reflects what 3 plus 3, 9 plus 35, comma 10 plus 30. Next is 29 plus 417, comma 38 plus 440. So CF3, the clustering features for cluster C3 will be what? 6, 44, 46, 4476 and 478. This is another example actually. Same elaboration actually by another example. This character number of data points LS and the SS computation. These are the points we put 5 with respect to this particular cluster. So CF will be clustering feature will be 5, 16, 30. Simple, that is that linear addition. We have 16 and 30 addition of this, and it is square sum for x coordinate and y coordinate square. So CF tree is a straight balanced tree which stores the clustering features for hierarchical clustering. Example is shown in figure 7.8 by definition. A non-leaf node in a tree has descendants or children. The non-leaf node stores some of the CFs of their children and thus summarizes the clustering information about the children. Step that is at the root level, we are computing the CF trees. So here we scan the database to build an initial in-memory CF tree, which can be viewed as a multi-level compression of the data that tries to preserve the inherent clustering structure of the data. So at root level, CF1, CF2, CF3. At the first level, that is CF1, CF12, CF12. CF is what? That is the three-dimensional vector. First is the n number of objects. Second is the LS, and third is the SS. Linear sum and square sum. LS, that is linear sum. SS is for the square sum. Clustering categorical data, that is ROC algorithm. ROC long form is robust clustering using the links. Robust clustering using the links, proposed in 1999. Major idea is that it uses links to measure the similarity. Links to measure the similarity or the proximity. It's not a distance based. Computational complexity is given as big O n square plus nm suffix m and a plus n square log n. Algorithm that sampling based clustering. Draw random sample, cluster with the links, label the data in the disk. Experiments are congregational voting and mushroom data. So this paper reflects this experimentation by adopting the major ideas, that is, it uses the links to measure dissimilarity. It's not a distance based and computational complexity based. Similarity measures in ROCP. Traditional measure for categorical data may not work well. There is a Jaccard coefficient. Example, two groups clusters for the transactions C1 and C2. With cluster groups of the transaction ABCD, ABC, different transactions with respect to C1 and with respect to C2. Now, Jaccard coefficient may lead to the wrong clustering result. So, C1 is 0.2 with respect to this ABC and AD to 0.5. Jaccard coefficient will use the result that is in between 0.2 to 0.5 ABC and AB. C1 and C2 could be as high as 0.5 ABC and ABF. So Jaccard coefficient based similarity function compute the similarity of T1 comma T2 is equal to an intersection T2 divided by T1 union T2. Example T1 and T2 is ABC and TD. So similarity of T1 comma T2 is equal to, now this intersection exists in between these two transactions. Is what our elements cardinality of C. And next is what divided by union. So T1 union T2 will be what? ABC D. 5 elements are there, 1 by 5. The result will be what? 0.2. So this is the Jaccard coefficient based similarity function. Similarity of T1 by T2 is equal to T1 intersection T2 and T1 union T2. Link measure in ROC. Number of common neighbors. Link equal to what is the number of common neighbors. So C1 and C2, that is the transaction ABCDE, ABC, ABD. So I think the colors reflect what they are having nearer, that is neighbors, link in between them. Second C2, these two are having link, red, this color black, blue. So T1 is ABC and T2 is CD and T3 is ABF. So T1 is this ABC transaction, CDE that is the T2 and T3 will be taken as this ABF from the C2 another cluster. Now link in T1 and T2 is equal to 4 since they have 4 common neighbors. Since they have 4 common neighbors, that is ACD, ACE, BCD and BCE. These are the 4 common neighbors. So T1 and T3 is equal to 3 since they have 3 common neighbors. That is ABD, ABE and AD, ABG. So the link is a better measure than Jaccard coefficient. So instead of the link, we are measuring the Jaccard coefficient. That will be the better. So some common neighbors are there more. Last, that is the Chameleon hierarchical clustering proposed in 1999. Two clusters, that is measures the similarity based dynamic model. Two clusters are merged only if the interconnectivity and the closeness between two clusters are high relatively. Two clusters are merging. Two clusters will be get merged. That is obviously, yeah, if we are having very much closeness, then we are, or if their boundaries are crossing or touches, then we are merged. So if the interconnectivity and closeness proximity between two clusters are high relatively to the internal connectivity of the cluster and closeness of the item within the cluster. Here ignores information about interconnectivity of the objects and rock ignores the information about the closeness of the two clusters. Here is another method actually. This chameleon is two-phase algorithm that uses the graph partitioning algorithm cluster objects into a large number of relatively small subclusters. Second, it uses an agglomerative hierarchical clustering algorithm. Find the gradient clusters by repeatedly combining its subclusters. So, diagrammatically representation reflects the sparse graph, partitions of the graph. The graph is another subgraph with respect to this main graph. Finite clusters. The subparts are get merged. Both are having similarity, very much having closeness. Right? This particular part will declare that final clustering is merging. Observe this diagram, this 1, 2, 3 links are break and 3 clusters are formed. This part shown as an red here. This particular part as an blue. This particular third part as an green. The separation will be what, that is all subgraph of this. We are having similarity with respect to this interconnectivity and closeness proximity. In this subphrase are get merged. Camelon clustering for the complex